Hello and welcome to Starting Out with Quantum Computing. My name is Lloyd and I think I've got an interesting one for you this week. So this week I'm talking about an event that I just went to. It's the 2025 UK National Quantum Technologies Showcase. And it was absolutely amazing. And I really want to talk about some of the things that I saw there. So in case you didn't know, just last Friday in the Business Design Centre in London, one of the biggest quantum meetups occurred. It's a full-day event and it hosts some of the largest and most famous quantum technology companies to exist on the planet. And seriously, any big name you could think of was there. There were companies that built quantum computers, companies that fixed them, companies that designed quantum algorithms, companies that used quantum sensing, quantum imaging, quantum GPS. The list goes on and on. And this event was organised by Innovate UK in collaboration with the Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council and the UK National Quantum Technologies Programme. And it was a genuinely record-breaking turnout. I think I heard that over more than 300 people registered and turned up this year. And from what I could sort of see, everyone came from diverse and interesting backgrounds. There were PhD students, master's students, business owners, venture capitalists, postdoctoral researchers, and many quantum industry experts and employees, of course. The reason they hold this event each year is to display the incredible rate of progress being made in the wide sector of quantum technology. And this also gives companies a chance to show off their latest builds and foster networking and engagement between companies and organizations. I'm sure that at least a couple partnerships or opportunities were formed whilst at this showcase. And amazingly, this year's showcase made it into the UN's International Year of Quantum Science and Technology, 2025, of course, events list. Meaning it's a huge deal and an internationally recognized event. Now, here are a few interesting facts that I've collected about this event. So just over £1 billion has been invested into quantum computing, sensing, imaging, communications, and navigation in the UK. And they also have a new commitment, the UK government, to reach 2.5 billion by 2033. The UK is ranked second in the world to the US for the number of quantum companies and for attracting private investment in the sector. And my final and third fact is that the UK government just published a press release detailing that there will be new projects totaling over £14 million launched to support efforts putting quantum to work, from affordable and portable hospital eye scanners to more resilient transport. So quantum is going to be the future, no doubt about that. And in case you were wondering how popular the showcase ended up being this year, I've taken a direct quote from the official showcase website. It reads, "We are truly thrilled by the overwhelming response and enthusiasm for the showcase. Please note that we have now reached full capacity for this event. In order to ensure the health and safety of our delegates, we can no longer accept new registrations." It was genuinely, what we can surmise from this is it was genuinely packed to the brim. And I agree, it was. So if you're listening to my podcast right now, it will be a little difficult for you to take a look at some of the highlights that I've put onto my written article. I've got some videos that I've taken, some photos, etc. So if you really want to take a look at that, please head over to that. But for now, I will just describe to you some of the things that I saw. So just the building itself, the Business Design Centre, perhaps is not completely relevant to quantum computing, but it's stunning. And you sort of enter this incredible sort of dome, and you've got this ground floor area where it's coffee and different countries at different stands. And then you've got on the first floor this incredible plethora of quantum companies and all their stands and prototypes and relevant people. And then on the second floor, around the sides, sort of caged around the sides of this huge cylindrical structure, is the auditorium and all the rooms in which amazing talks were occurring. So it was quite an amazing layout. And the way it worked on the first floor with all the stalls, the layout allowed people to walk throughout the stands and mingle with different people. There were also communal sitting areas in the middle in case you got tired and you needed a quick coffee. And also on the second floor, I very much enjoyed going to some of these talks. So, for example, I attended a talk on quantum networks. It was fascinating to learn about the advancements that have been made in heading towards the quantum internet. And so this might sound familiar because I've already written and spoken about the quantum internet. So if that interests you, you can also read one of my blogs or listen to my podcast about it. So some of the demonstrations that I looked at, I mean, it was genuinely mind-blowing to see some of the quantum technology demonstrations on show. And equally, it was awesome to be so close to incredibly expensive and intricately designed quantum chips. So I saw an ion trap core by Quantinuum. Quantinuum, they're a Cambridge-based quantum computing company that specialize in trapped ion quantum computers. Trapped ion quantum computers are a unique type of quantum computer that performs operations by magnetically fixing ions within a confined space. And by doing this, we can perform complex quantum computations and measure to get back results. And I really liked this demonstrative model, as I could press each button to see which laser pulses resulted in which process inside the quantum computer. So we do quantum computation by shining lasers, and very intricate timed lasers, into the trapped ion space. Next, I showed an amazing video by Oxford Ionics. And specifically, this video shows one of their trapped ion chips under the microscope. So this is a company founded in 2019 in Oxford by Dr. Chris Ballance and Dr. Tom Hardy. And they are both physicists from the University of Oxford who've been working on trapped ion quantum computing for years. Most fortunately, at the showcase, I got to see one of their trapped ion chips close up under the microscope. And it was absolutely beautiful and glimmering. And I think it's not obvious how much ingenious engineering goes into each chip. This chip is made of several sophisticated silicon layers, and it's even got photonic technology within it. On the top layer, precisely engineered electrodes can trap ions at a distance of tens of micrometers, tiny, above the surface, meaning they can be freely moved across the surface just above it. And what's more, the design is completely modular, meaning if you needed more trapped ions for your quantum computer, you could simply copy and paste the chips next to each other. That's insane. And then I found this incredibly special thing. It was a model of a superconducting quantum computer and the entire dilution fridge wrapped around it. And it made it look like a sort of golden chandelier, and it's always beautiful to see golden chandeliers. This particular model was set up by Fujitsu. They're a leading Japanese multinational information and communications technology corporation, and they were established in 1935. Some things that they've done, they've developed a 256-qubit quantum computer called Riken, and they are currently processing and progressing through their roadmap, which will see a 1024-qubit computer in 2026, as well as a digital annealing service to solve real-world optimization problems. In other words, they are a major player in the world of quantum computing and quantum technology. And then I had a question after looking at all these different prototypes and models. Why are the wires in the dilution fridge curled or curly, as I like to say. And I genuinely didn't know the answer to this. And it turns out it's for quite a logical reason, besides the fact that it makes it look very cool and sci-fi. It's because of thermal contraction, the phenomena where metals contract and get shorter when they cool to low temperatures. Especially when the metal wires are cooled to a few millikelvin, which is just below absolute zero, they begin to contract and get shorter. Now, if the wires were rather taut when warm, this would mean at cold temperatures the wires would snap, essentially. Therefore, they are made curly in order to provide necessary slack required to keep the metal wires intact. The last thing that I show in these videos is a great example of quantum imaging. So the UK Quantum Technology Hub in Sensing, Imaging and Timing, also known as QSIT, had an interesting demonstration. They had this particular tiny camera that could be fed through a Chinese fortune cookie. I'm serious. And once fed through, it would say on the inside whether the cookie you had chosen was an alive cat on the inside or a dead cat on the inside. Obviously, that is a little homage to Schrodinger's cat. And to be honest, there's a real quantum metaphor here. It's weak measurements. When we measure a quantum state, it can destroy a superposition immediately and irreversibly. However, when we make weak measurements, we can gain some level of information without destroying the quantum state entirely. Similarly, we can find out some information from within the quantum Chinese fortune cookie without destroying it completely. So, my overall thoughts on the showcase, I'd give it a 10 out of 10, an 11 out of 10, or maybe even a 12 out of 10. Well, it was my first time, so I very much enjoyed it. And it's very rare to be able to be up close and personal to these incredible quantum processing units, and to see some quantum celebrities up close as well. It was also really nice to see that quantum computing is starting to reach the general spotlight, with a record-breaking attendance for the showcase. Even in my own personal life, I find that people unrelated to the field are starting to know what quantum computing is. This is a really exciting prospect for the future, for the quantum future. And to top off the day after the showcase, I was able to attend the Jim Al-Khalili evening lecture on spooky quantum worlds at the Royal Institute. And if you are interested, I will leave a link to a video where you can rewatch it. Don't miss it, because it is absolutely amazing. Well, that's everything from me this week. Thank you very much for tuning in to Starting Out with Quantum Computing. My name is Lloyd, and if you like what you listen to, please share with a friend who you think might be interested. All right, well, I will see you in the next Quantum Week. Goodbye.